Scott Pfister.
Please step up and raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony that you give out is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. Please be seated. Please state your name for the record.
Scott Carl Pfister,
Thank you. Mr. Schulte?
Scott, how old are you?
45.
So you're not, I think it was Kayla testified you're 50, but you're not.
No, she commented that her mom and I were the same age, but Kathy was 4 years older than I was.
Are you employed?
Yes.
Where do you work?
Work at Lead Farm Equipment in Leaden.
How long have you worked there?
About 3 years.
Before that, where did you work?
Worked at Evapco in Lakeview for 10 years.
Where did you go to school?
At Lytton.
Was that before it was Rockwell City, Lytton?
Yeah, it was just Lytton High School.
So you went all through grade school and high school?
No, I went grade school through 8th grade in Sac City here, and then just freshman through senior in Lytton.
What year did you graduate?
88.
You're married to Christy?
Yes.
And by all accounts, you have 3 kids.
Yep.
And you're acquainted, of course, with Christy's niece, Kayla.
Yep.
How long have you known Kayla?
Her whole life.
What type of relationship did Kayla have with your family?
She was like another one of our kids. She was always there, took care of her all the time.
Can you describe a typical family gathering at your house? Who all would be there? What would you do?
Well, usually it was the 5 of us and Kathy and Randy and any of all of their kids. And then usually my nephew Jeff was there or his parents were there.
Tell me about watching television in the living room. Who would be there on a typical Saturday or Sunday when you look at this?
Like I said, it would be the 5 of us and Kathy and Randy, and usually the 2 girls, Kayla and Becca, were there, and most of the time one or both of their boys, depending on if they had to work.
And the purpose of gathering in the living room was to watch television?
Yeah, we have snackies and then watch TV.
During the time that you're snacking and watching TV, do any of the people relate to each other than just sitting there and watching TV? Do you talk to each other?
Somewhat. I mean, now with the iPads and everybody sits around their iPads right beside each other and don't talk.
Before the iPads came along, what type of conversation would go on?
Usually Randy and I would talk about hunting or guns, and he would have me look stuff up on the computer because he wasn't computer savvy, and I'd get him information that he was inquiring about certain guns.
And on those occasions, would you be sitting on the couch?
Yeah, I have a specific spot. I don't know how, I've always sat in that spot, and
Where on the couch is that spot?
the right-hand side. I used to smoke in the house, and that's where my ashtray always sat, and I don't know, I've always sat there.
During a typical afternoon when you are gathered with your family, the extended family, who would sit on the couch?
More than 90% of the time, Kathy was always sitting right next to me. And usually Randy was by her or right across from me so we could talk.
So Randy had the left side, you had the right side, Kathy used to sit in the middle.
I would sit on the right side of the couch, Kathy would sit to my left, and Randy sat in a chair just in front of me.
So there were 2 people on the couch.
Usually the one or all the kids were trying to crowd in on the couch. And if there was somebody sitting on the left side of Kathy, then the girls, either Kathy or Becca, would try to sit in between us or on both of us.
You mean Kayla or Rebecca?
Yeah.
Now, when you said would sit between you, you're talking about between you and who else?
Kathy,
Or on top of?
yes.
Who? The girls, one or the other of the girls would sometimes like sit on Kathy's lap during these things? Is that what you're saying?
Kathy's lap or try to sit on mine,
Or try to sit on yours? And
Yeah.
they sometimes sit on yours.
unless I push them off.
Did you ever push them off?
Yes.
Was there ever a time when you and Kayla were alone on the couch watching television?
Not that I can recall.
Was there ever a time when Kayla and you were alone in the living room watching television or doing anything else?
Not that I can recall.
You've heard a lot of testimony from a lot of different people now about these hunting trips. And you've heard what Alexander said about where people would sit in the boat. Was that correct?
Yes.
Did you always sit in the stern of the boat where the heater was?
Yeah, that's where my stuff was. And that's the seat when we would get up, that's where I would sit. And the heater would be sitting by my bench seat there so that I could protect the kids from knocking it over or starting to blow on fire.
Did you always stay in that location?
Yes.
On those occasions when Kayla came with you on these duck hunting excursions, where would she sleep?
Usually next to me.
So you're not denying that she was sleeping next to you.
That's where she chose to sleep.
I would take it that it was cold, you had a heater on, that she was fully clothed.
Yeah, we all were.
Did you have blankets or sleeping bags or anything like that?
Sometimes blankets and sleeping bags. Sometimes we even wore waders to stay warm.
What time of the night would you turn in bottom of the boat and put sleep?
We couldn't be on the water till midnight. By the time we go to our spot on the lake, set out some of the decoys, it's usually 1:30, and then we'd have to be up by 5:30, 6 o'clock so we could shoot for shooting time, which was a half hour before sunrise.
So if I'm correct, then there's only about a 4-hour period of time when you're actually resting or sleeping.
Yeah.
And during that time, is it your sort of job to watch the heater?
Yeah.
Did you sleep?
When I would run the heater for a little bit, then I'd fall asleep. And if I got cold, I'd start it back up again. Then I'd run for 5-10 minutes, and then I'd shut it back off. Because usually the boys were too wired to sleep, so they would wake me up, or they would, holler at me to start it if I didn't wake up, because they wouldn't sleep.
Was there ever a time when there were fewer people in the boat? Or did the boys always go along?
The boys always went along. Once in a while, my nephew Greg or Jeff wouldn't, if they went out drinking too heavy the night before, they wouldn't go. We'd call them and they're like, oh, we can't go. So it was always at least 4 of us.
Deer hunting. You've heard people testify about deer hunting, sometimes slightly different versions. What would your position during deer hunting be? Would you drive the deer? Would you post? What would you do?
We'd take turns. If I was walking, depending on the age of the boys or the kids, they would have to walk with me, or if I was posting, they would sit with me, and Randy would take turns also.
Did Kayla ever post with you?
She would post with me or Randy. Most of the time she was posting because she didn't want to walk.
So if you post, you have an easier time of it, is that what you're saying? You
Yeah,
get a ride?
you just walk into the timber and sit down and wait.
Was one or both of your boys always with you while you were posting?
Depending on the age, yes, most generally they were. Or we would sit, you have to sit so you can see each other to signal for deer coming. So we were always in communication, always in eyesight of each other.
You heard Alex testify that when he was younger by law, he had to be within 100 feet of you.
Correct. And Nicholas was 2 years younger, so when Alex got old enough to go on his own, Nicholas had to be with me.
So he had to do that, Alex particularly, because he's the same age as Kayla, had to do that till he was 16.
Correct.
Was there ever a time that you can recall when you were alone on post with Kayla? No one else was with you or out there with you?
Not opposed.
Was there ever any other time that you were alone with Kayla while you were deer hunting?
We dropped off, part of our group went a quarter mile up. We stopped, she dropped me off, and she went to post when she was older, and I would walk halfway up.
So at that point, she's driving?
When I got out, she would get out of the vehicle and take the driver's seat once I got my gun and started walking. Then she would take my vehicle to the end to post.
So she had a driver's license?
Yeah, she would have over 16.
Before that,
Nicholas wasn't with me, so it had been, she would have had to been at least 18 then.
when she was younger, was there ever a time when the two of you were maybe alone and no one else was around while you were hunting for deer?
No, just one or both of the boys would have to be with me. I wouldn't allow them to sit with Randy.
Why is that?
Just precaution. Want my boys to be safe, and Randy can get a little gun happy when he sees deer, and I don't want my boys to learn that.
Scott, when Kayla was 15, did you ever engage in any type of petting activity with her?
No,
Was there any type of inappropriate contact between you and Kayla at any time that you could recall?
no,
You have admitted that during that incident, when she called you because of her tire and you drove halfway to Sioux City and bailed her out of the problem she was having, that at that time there was a kiss between the two of you.
yes,
I take it from Alex's answer earlier that you've never shared that particular bit of the story with your sons.
didn't really think it was important. It was just, she was distressed. I had my arms around her while she was crying. She looks up and kissed me.
So she kissed you initially,
Yes.
and after she kissed you, what happened?
She got in her car and went to Sioux City where she was living.
And where did you go?
Home.
Other than that, have you ever engaged in any type of inappropriate contact with your niece and Caleb?
No.
I have no further questions.
Mr. Smith?
Thanks, 1 second, Your Honor. Mr. Pfister? During your interview with Detective Era, you told him that when duck hunting, you would cuddle with Cato in the back of the boat. Do you recall that?
Yes.
and you would cuddle with her under a blanket, right?
Correct.
Okay. In your mind, is there a difference between cuddling and sleeping together?
I don't understand the question.
Oh, let me just ask you, is there a difference between cuddling and just sleeping in the back of the boat?
When I would sleep in the back of the boat, I was facing the bench seat because that's the only way I would fit because I'm too tall. Where our backs were together or whatever part of her body was touching mine. I wasn't facing Kayla.
How close would you say you were? In the boat, yeah, talking about proximity, close,
Touching. All of our bodies were touching.
and under a blanket.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you describe the law enforcement, another scenario of your nephew, I believe it's your nephew, Cody Wiederin,
Correct.
he would also go duck hunting with you, correct?
Correct.
And he would sleep in the same spot as Kayla would sleep in the boat.
Correct.
But you didn't spoon with Cody Wiederin, did you?
No.
Were you under the blanket with Cody Wiederin?
Yes.
So why would you be cuddling with Kayla but not Cody?
I don't understand.
Well, it's actually it's a very clear question. You went,
How can I cuddle when my back is facing them? This is the same way I slept in the boat with Cody. Because of the orientation of the seat, that bench seat in the back of the boat.
you testified that when sleeping in the back of the duck boat, you cuddled with Kayla, right? Not testified, you told Detective Eric. Yes or no?
Your definition of cuddling. We were sleeping back to back or my back to whatever part of her body, correct?
So like, I guess a common reference or description would be spooning. Is that what you're describing?
No.
Okay, what are you describing then?
The back of my body
Okay,
to Kayla's body.
so you're back to back.
My back, I don't know if it's her back or her side or it's my back because that's the way I have to sleep in that portion of the boat to fit.
And you also just told Detective Eric that you would hold her and comfort her.
Not that time.
You recall telling Detective Eric that at one point during the interview that Kayla would be on one side of the couch and you'd be on the other side?
Correct.
Okay, so there was a point in time when you both were on the couch alone?
Possibly if somebody got up in between us.
Okay. You told Detective Eric that when duck hunting, you have to be asleep by midnight. You recall that?
Be asleep at midnight? No, I don't recall that.
I believe you told Detective Eric that we'd be asleep by midnight. His response to you was, not always, and your response was, bullshit, I need my sleep. You recall that?
No, I don't recall that.
Okay.
Because you can't be on the water before midnight. It's state law.
So if you told Captain Eric that would be incorrect.
Right.
Okay. You're not denying that you touched Kayla or could possibly have touched Kayla on top of her clothing, right?
I understand the question.
Is it possible, or did you tell law enforcement that it was possible that you touched Kayla on her vagina on top of her clothing accidentally?
If she sits on my lap, that's on top of clothing and she's sitting on my lap with her vagina.
So what you're telling me right now is that anytime a child sits on your lap, like as straddled with leg on either side of a leg, that's contact of a sexual nature?
I didn't say that.
Well, what are you saying, I guess? I don't understand.
I was answering your question. I don't understand what you're asking.
You told law enforcement that it was possible that you touched Kayla on top of her clothing, touched her genitals on top of her clothing by accident. Do you recall telling law enforcement that?
Yes,
Okay. Do you recall telling law enforcement that you tickled Kayla's thigh area?
yes,
Do you recall telling law enforcement that you tickled Kayla up under her shirt?
yes,
You recall telling law enforcement that it was those two instances are what could possibly, have been taken or mistaken by Kayla as inappropriate touching.
yes,
And I believe it was your testimony just a few minutes earlier that in a car, when you were going to pick up Kayla's car after it had broken down and she was somewhere between Sioux City and Des Moines, that she's the one that tried to kiss you or did kiss you.
we were not in a car.
When you were around a car, at a car, or when you were going to rescue her or grab her car, do you recall telling that to law enforcement?
Yes,
Do you recall the scenario that your attorney brought up concerning the fixing of Kayla's car or going to get her car?
yes,
And it was just the two of you,
yes,
and I believe it was your testimony that she was the one that kissed you.
correct.
But do you recall telling law enforcement the video that we just watched about an hour ago, less than an hour ago, that you're the one that kissed her? She looked up at you and you kissed her. That's what you said. Is that right?
No. She instigated the kiss, I kissed her back.
Okay. You also told law enforcement during that interview that she had tried to kiss you on a previous occasion. Do you recall that?
Yes,
Do you recall saying that or do you recall it happening?
I recall saying, the video saying that, but I don't recall when it happened or if it happened.
Did you just forget between now and the time that you told that to Detective Barrett?
I don't understand.
My question is that during the interview, you told Captain or Detective Barrett that there was a point in time earlier before this car fixing kiss where Kayla had tried to kiss you. Do you recall that?
Do I recall saying that or
Do you recall saying that to Detective Barrett?
yes,
Okay. But now it's your testimony today that you don't recall if that actually happened.
right.
Mr. Pfister, there's been a lot of testimony that your family and Kayla's family were close, right?
Correct.
You guys did lots of things together, probably on countless occasions.
Right.
Okay. And when Captain Arrett interviewed you, the first thing that you told him was that Kayla was 18. Is that right?
Yes.
And the second thing that you told him, as we saw in the video, was, well, we were just cuddling in the duck boat. Do you recall that?
Yes.
So of all the instances that your family's been together, of all the times that you have been near or around Kayla, when an allegation of sex abuse is made, the first thing that comes out of your mouth is Kayla's 18. and that we were just cuddling in the back of the duck boat. Is that true?
No.
What's inaccurate about that?
There was more to the interview than what was there.
I'm not talking about the interview in its entirety. I'm talking about the first thing you told Captain Eric.
Well, when you're accused of sexual inappropriate, the first thing that comes to mind is the only thing that sexually ever happened is when she was going to college and she broke down and I kissed her. That's the only thing sexually that's ever happened.
But immediately after saying she was 18, you brought up the duck boat incident, right?
Right.
Which happened 6 years prior to that interview, right?
It happened within a couple years of that interview. She went duck hunting even when she was out of college.
So it's your testimony today here under oath that Kayla Smith has been duck hunting with you after she graduated from college.
I believe so. I
Well,
believe she went with us.
I'm gonna let you just think about that for a second, okay? Under oath today, your testimony that Kayla Smith went duck hunting with you and your family after she went off to college.
I thought she went 1 year when after she graduated college.
Is your statement to Captain Eric that after Kayla went to college, she never came around? Do you remember telling Captain Eric that?
Yes.
Do you remember watching that on the video less than an hour ago?
Yes.
You told Captain Eric that you thought of or still do think of Kayla Smith as your own child.
Correct.
Do you still feel that way today?
No.
Would you say that Kayla looked up to you?
When?
Would you say that Kayla looked up to you?
When? Prior or now?
Prior.
Yes.
And prior being before the allegation?
Yes.
Do you recall telling Detective Eric that the second time Kayla tried to kiss you, you decided to kiss her back?
You're putting words into my mouth. I never said it was a first time, except for the time in Lawton.
So if I were to replay the video, there wouldn't have been, we wouldn't be able to see you telling Captain Eric that telling Captain Eric verbatim the second time she tried to kiss me, I decided to kiss her back. That would be inaccurate. That would be incorrect.
I don't recall.
You told Captain Eric that it was possible that Kayla was confused or maybe, mistook a game of playing, hitting somebody in the butt for an inappropriate touch.
Yes.
And that was a game that, I guess, when's the last time you played that game with Kayla?
I never played the game. It was something the young kids did
Okay.
that I thought was cruel.
But you participated in it, sir.
I kicked her, I don't know where, I kicked her because she hit my daughter.
No further questions.
Mr. Schulman.
How did you find out that Deputy Eric wanted to interview you?
I was home for lunch at work and he stopped and told me I had to come to Sac City with him. There was 2 officers.
And what happened when you got to Sac City?
He put me in a room.
Was it your understanding that you were stuck in that room? In other words, you could not get up and leave?
Yes, I asked if I was under arrest. He said, yeah, no, but you can't go anywhere.
Did he tell you before he got you and put you in the interview room that there had been an allegation made about inappropriate contact between you and your niece Kayla?
No,
Do you have any idea why you were being taken basically from lunch to the law enforcement center?
no.
When did you first find that out?
When he walked in and accused me,
How did you feel?
shocked.
Did you understand what was going on?
No,
Did you understand all of his questions?
no,
Did you ever ask him to clarify or make a question clearer?
yes.
What was your main motivation? What were you trying to do with Captain Eric? As far as his accusation,
To understand what was going on and what could possibly be the reasoning for me being accused.
so instead of just denying it or saying nothing, you tried to come up with scenarios of why he might possibly think something happened?
Correct.
During that interview, did you intend anything you said to be an admission that you had committed any type of inappropriate conduct with Caleb?
No,
If, when you talked about it happened, you were talking about the kiss when she was in college.
correct.
And you had indicated that there had been an attempt by Kayla to kiss you on an earlier occasion. Do you remember that?
I don't know if she actually tried to kiss me or not. I took it as that, but I'm not positive that's what she tried to do.
As I understand it, what, if she did or whether she didn't, you indicated that you weren't going to kiss her.
Right.
So if there was a second time, it was the time rescuing her from her tire problems.
Correct.
You just testified on cross-examination, I kicked her because she hit my daughter. Now, what do you mean by kick?
She hit my daughter in the rear end,
And where were you at that point?
sitting on my spot in the couch, on the right side of the couch,
And where was Kayla?
or over on the other side. My daughter had just got up from in between us.
And how did she hit your daughter?
She hit her in the butt with her hand or thumb or something like that. So I reached my leg over there and kicked her in the butt.
In a way that would injure her?
I said, well, how do you like that? I didn't try to hurt her, just making a point that that was not appropriate.
Can you think of any type of inappropriate contact that occurred between you and Kayla when she was 15?
No.
Nothing further?
Mr. Smith?
You can't think of any inappropriate contact that could have occurred when Kayla was 15? That was your testimony?
Correct.
It couldn't have happened accidentally?
No.
It could not have. Is your testimony?
No.
It couldn't have happened accidentally when you were tickling her thighs?
No.
Couldn't have happened accidentally when you were tickling up under her shirt? When you told law enforcement in that video that it could have occurred when you'd accidentally done those very things I just said, was that true?
I don't understand what you're asking.
What I'm asking is you're telling me now that it couldn't have been an accident. It couldn't have been when you were accidentally tickling her thighs. But when you told law enforcement, that was an explanation or justification that you had given. You recall that?
Yes, I recall that.
But that's different now.
Yes.
You're certain it wasn't when you were tickling her thighs?
Correct.
Okay. What's the significance of being 18 versus 17, 16, 15, 14?
I knew she was in college, so I know she was over 18. I didn't know she was 18 or 19.
Oh, I'm guessing, in your mind, why volunteer that information to law enforcement? That she's 18. Well, Kayla was 18 at the time. That's what you said.
Because that's when it happened.
You're talking about a kiss, right?
Right.
So 2 law enforcement officers show up at your door, want to ask you questions. And the first thing that you tell them is that she's 18. You think you're there because there's an allegation that you kissed somebody over the age of 18?
I had no idea why I was there.
The DVD of your interview is in evidence, and the jury's going to be able to take that back and watch it if they want to. Is it your testimony here today that Captain Arrett, member of the Sac County Sheriff's Office for 20 plus years, told you that you were not free to leave?
Yes.
So, okay. That's what it said on the video recording
He said, do not go anywhere.
when it was recorded?
No. Not when, I don't know if it was, when it was recorded and when it wasn't. The recording we watched didn't show any of that. Didn't show my Miranda, none of it.
You received your Miranda warnings, right?
I guess that's what it was.
Okay. Your Miranda warnings that you had the right to remain silent?
And then I asked him if I was under arrest, and he said no, but you can't go anywhere.
Okay. But that's what the video will show.
I don't understand.
I'll strike that question. I'm gonna go back to, no, I'm not going to. Never mind. You testified that Detective Eric's questions weren't clear. Would you agree that you just testified to that?
Yes.
He asked you if you ever touched your niece on her vagina, right? That's what he asked you during the interview.
Okay.
Is that a yes or no? Do you recall him asking you that?
No, I don't recall it.
Okay. Do you recall giving the answer? It may have happened. If it happened, it was purely accidental.
I don't recall that.
All right.